Okay, cannot do attendance here. Okay. Just give me a minute here. Okay. Okay, right. Brian.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Okay, Guilin.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Okay, Eileen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jiahut.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Okay, Edward. Thank you. Yushen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Julia.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Kai.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sinro.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Okay, Esther.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ji Liang. Okay, Chun Xian.
Yes.
Okay, Jin Nan.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Okay, Min Yu.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Wen Chen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jun Xiang.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Hong Sheng. Hong Sheng. Okay, never mind. Martin.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tian Fu.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Wan Chi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Queenie.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Yao Kuan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Rachel.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Jun En.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Xin Yi.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Kai Man.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Yeah, they all FFK. Okay, right. Okay, let me see. I think we're missing one more person. But anyway, I think we can start. Okay, so today, just to repeat, yeah, okay, today we will use a lot of the whiteboard. Okay, so if you can't see anything, just let me know. Okay, I will try my best to make it big and clear. Okay, but yeah, if you can't see, you have to tell me. Yeah, okay. Now let us start with the MCQ. Also, there are quite a few questions that we cannot do. Okay, I will basically skip, tell you which ones not that we cannot cover yet. Okay, right. Okay. Is it big enough for you? Okay. Okay, right. Okay, right. Question 1. Okay. We assume many things about perfect composition, but what is not one assumption that we make? Okay, which one is wrong in one sense? Okay, very good, thank you. Now, D is the correct answer. Now, this is very important because under perfect composition, all the firms sell exactly the same thing. Now, why is it so important? Now, think about this, yeah? You know, there are many wanton mee stalls across, Star Park, okay? But if you have a favorite one, okay, suppose they are not all the same, okay, you have a favorite one, that means if the price of that one stall goes up by a bit, you might still buy from that stall, okay? You might still buy from that stall, okay? But if all the wanton mee across Star Park, okay, it's all exactly the same, then if the price of one goes up, you immediately move to the next one, okay? Now, if you have differentiated products, you cannot have what we call perfect elasticity. Okay, your demand is not perfectly elastic because you will still want to buy a bit from your favorite. Okay, so that is why under perfect competition, the goods must be identical, they cannot be differentiated. Differentiated means there's some slight difference such that they are not perfect substitutes for one another. Okay, IA swarm is perfect. IA swarm from one guy is exactly the same as IA swarm from another guy. It's just water, right? Okay. Therefore, if one guy raises the price, you just buy from the other guy. But not for other goods, yeah. Okay, not for other goods. Food, okay, in general, they are not perfect substitutes. They are close substitutes, but they are not perfect. Okay, so just be careful with that, yeah. Okay, just be careful with that. Okay, the rest are all correct. Many sellers, many buyers, perfect information, and easy entry and exit. Those are all correct. Okay. Now, let's move on to question 2. Okay, what do we call the demand curve facing a perfectly competitive firm? Okay, perfectly elastic, yeah? Okay, perfectly elastic. Now, what do we call the shape of a perfectly elastic curve, demand curve? Starts with that, yeah, okay? Horizontal, okay? So each time you see horizontal, it must mean perfectly elastic, and perfectly elastic is the same as saying horizontal, okay? So same way of saying, different ways of saying the same thing. Okay, now question 3. What is the condition for profit maximizing? Okay, now. Okay, A is the correct answer. Now this is P equals MC. Again, it's only true for perfect competition, yeah? Okay, because first of all, you must have P equals MR and MR equals to MC to get MR P equals MC. Okay, so Edward, basically this is what you, because first of all we have MR equals MC, okay, but we also have P equals MC. Okay, if these two things are the same, then these two must also this is equal to this, therefore this is equal to this. Okay, this P equals MR. Oh my god, the brain's dying. Okay, this is the condition we have because you are a price taker. Okay, and this is the profit maximizing condition. MR equals MC holds for every market structure, but this only holds for perfect competition. Okay, so if you have P equals MR and MR equals MC, therefore P must also equal MC. Okay, now this is not true for example, monopoly, which we will do this week. So for monopoly, this will be true. This will not be true. Therefore, for monopoly, P will not be equal to MC. Okay, so yeah, this is P equals MR is a very special condition that is unique to perfect competition. Okay, now I'm going to give you one more hint. You can only have P equals MR if you have a horizontal demand curve. So, in other words, if your demand curve is the normal downward sloping one, you do not have P equals MC because you do not have P equals MR. Okay? So, does that make sense? Okay, people online, any questions? Okay, if not, then we can continue. Okay, first of all, I will tell you that we will skip question 5. Okay, we will skip question 5. It's no longer in the syllabus. Okay, we will skip question 5, yeah? We will do 4 and 6. Okay, now, let me move this. Okay, now, at what point will the perfectly competitive firm produce in order to maximize their profits? What about the rest?
Sir, I am Long Sheng, so sorry I sleep late.
Oh, okay, no problem. Thanks for letting me know.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep, I've given you your attendance. Thanks. Okay. Right. So for question 4, the correct answer is A. Yeah? Okay. We will talk about the rest, the other options in one of the essay, in one of the MCQs. Let me think. Will we do it? Yeah, I think we will do it a bit later. Okay. So for question 4, it is A. All right. Marginal cost equals marginal revenue. Okay. Now skip question 5 because we will not be covering this in this syllabus. Now let us move on to question 6. Okay. Now, question 6, if a perfectly competitive firm takes losses, what does that mean about the price? Okay, now just a hint here. Taking loss is not the same as shutting down. So remember we did the shutting down conditions. That's not the same as taking loss. Okay, so we have B and C. Okay, any other guesses? Okay, right. So now the correct answer is actually B. Okay. Now C is wrong because a perfectly competitive firm will never produce below marginal cost. Okay, the price will never be below marginal cost. It's just that when P equals MC, you can still suffer a loss. Okay. Now think about this, yeah. Okay. When you suffer a loss, you are just talking purely about profit. Okay. Now profit is total revenue minus total cost. Okay, so okay, I'm going to write on the board. Okay, so just watch the whiteboard. Okay, so first of all, profit, okay, equals to total revenue. Okay, minus total cost. Okay, right, so let me just write this as phi equals to TR minus TC. Okay, now first of all, how do we get our total revenue? Total revenue is price times quantity. Okay, and total cost, we know how to get that. Okay, now profit equals to total revenue minus total cost. Now, if you are taking a loss, okay, that means profit is less than 0. Right? This means total revenue minus total cost is less than 0. Okay. Now, remember that this is given by this. Okay, let us divide both sides by 2. Guys, can you see what I've written here? People online, can you see? Okay, yeah, all right, okay. So divide both sides by Q, total revenue, price times quantity. If you divide by quantity, you just end up with the price. Okay, so let me just do one more step here. Okay, now, so let us write this as PQ minus TC or 0. Okay, divide both sides by Q, you end up with P minus TC over Q less than 0 divided by Q, 0. That means P, okay, I'm running out of box space. Okay, P is less than TC over Q, but this is your average total cost. Therefore, when you have a loss, it must be the case that it is price less than average total cost. May not be the case for average variable cost. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to upload it on Google Classroom. Okay, just in case. This is one thing I like about physical class. I get to show off my handwriting. I am known for having good handwriting. Okay, I will upload a picture of this, okay, in the Google Classroom as well. All right. But basically, the idea is that when you're talking about profit and loss, it must be price and average total cost, not average variable cost. When we talk about price and average variable cost, we are talking about to produce or not to produce. So you see slightly different questions, yeah? Making a loss doesn't always mean you do not produce. Okay, so that bit we will come to in again. So class, just be very careful, yeah? Making a loss does not mean you don't produce. Because if you don't produce, your loss might be even bigger. Okay? So you see, yeah, if you don't produce, the loss might be even bigger. So what you do, you might as well produce. Okay? So that's the idea behind it. Because think about this, yeah? Think about this. Suppose, you rent a restaurant, okay? You are going to make a loss because you're bad at cooking. But if you don't produce anything, okay? If you don't produce anything, you will still have to pay for the restaurant, the rent. But if you produce, you might be able to cover a bit of the rent, even if not everything. So it's still better to produce at a loss compared to not producing at all. It's possible, okay? We will see this again in just a bit. Okay, people online, any questions so far? Everything clear? Okay, right. Then let us continue with question 7. Okay. Question 7. First of all, we assume we are in a perfectly competitive market. If you are in a perfectly competitive market and you decide to raise your price, what will happen to you? Okay, you don't sell anything, yeah, because the goods are all the same. So if you raise your price, I just go to the next guy and no one buys from you. Okay, so this one makes sense. Okay, now question 8. In the short run, okay, what do you do if your price, is above average total cost, less than average total cost, or something like that? Okay. What is the correct answer to question 8? Okay, so 8 is, the correct answer is C. You produce and sell as long as the price is greater than average variable cost. Okay, class, just a reminder, yeah, think back to what we said just now. As you produce as long as your price is above average variable cost, but your price could be below average total cost, right? So that means you can be producing but still at a loss because you have a loss as long as you are below average total cost. Okay, so yeah, here you have to see that the production decision does not always link to profit and loss. Okay, or at least for some ranges of price. All right. Now, Question 9. This one is fun. Okay. In a short run equilibrium, what kind of profits will the perfectly competitive firm make? Okay. Okay, short run, yeah, not long run, yeah. Okay, be very careful while I set up the diagram. Think about it. Okay, this bit is not going to be examinable, but it's going to be helpful. Okay, this diagram is not going to be examinable yet, but it will help in your understanding. Okay, now let us set up our cost curves and our demand diagram. Remind me to never buy DIY stationery. Completely useless. Okay, quantity, price, okay. AABC. I can't tell if people can see. Okay, if people online, if you cannot see, please let me know, yeah? Okay, so you have your ABC, ATC, your MC. Now let us put in our first demand curve. Yeah, okay. Demand 1, this is also equal to FR1. Okay. Now, in this case, where do we produce? Produce here, right? Where the demand curve cuts the MC. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to do is to find out what is the profit. Okay. Now, the price is here. Your average total cost is here, right? So, your profit is this rectangle. Okay. This is your profit. Okay. So it is possible to have positive economic profit and produce. Okay. Now let us suppose. Okay. Now I have to do a very tricky thing of trying to erase this without erasing something. Now, suppose, okay, our demand curve is here. Okay, we're here, yeah? Are you earning any profit? People online, are you earning any profit if this is your demand curve? Look for the distance, okay? Look for the gap between price and average total cost. No, right? Okay, because your price is equal to the average total cost. Okay, so in this case, you earn zero profit. Okay, here, positive profit. Okay, here, zero profit. Now, what about if we are producing somewhere here? Oh my gosh, that is very, very not straight. Give me a minute. That was. Okay, so what happens if you are here? Okay, now class. Here, yeah. So you produce here, right? MR equals MC. Okay, you draw your line down here. Now, is your price above or below average total cost? Below, okay? So if it is below, you are making a loss. Right? You're making a loss. You're paying, it costs you more to produce than it is for you than what you earn per unit. But will you produce? Yeah, okay. So you will still produce because it is more than average variable cost. But you have suffered a loss of this area. Okay? So in this sense, the correct answer is actually D. In the short run, you don't know. In other words, everything is possible. In the short run, you can be producing, but you could be making profit, you could be making a loss, you could be, breaking even. All of the above are possible. Okay, so this part you have to be careful, yeah. Okay, in the long run, it is true that because people enter and exit the market, you will earn zero profit in the long run. But in the short run, all three options are possible. So the correct answer should be D, yeah. Okay. Now, although I have shown you, where is the profit, that kind of thing. Okay, it's not part of the syllabus. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, because you can actually calculate the profit if you have numbers for this diagram, because you just have to find the area of the rectangle. But in this case, we will not be doing that. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. It's just, I think it's useful to show you, why we have profit and how to see it on the diagram. Okay. Okay, Brian, loss is defined by total revenue minus total cost, right? So you should be looking at the price, which is your demand curve. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, that's correct. You should be looking at your demand curve and your ATC. Okay, that is your loss. Okay, not AVC. Okay, not AVC. The distance between your ATC and your AVC is your average fixed cost. Right? Remember, your ATC equals to AVC plus AFC. So the distance between them is the AFC. Yeah. Okay. Right. I think let's move on. Okay. Question 10. Okay, this one should be easy. Define marginal revenue. Okay, B, this one is easy. Change in total revenue caused by selling one additional unit of output. Okay, so 10 is B. Now what about 11? Your price is 10, you produce 100 units, average total cost is 8, average variable cost is 7. What do you do? What about the others? Okay, A is the correct answer, yeah? You just have to look at price and average variable cost. Price is 10, average variable cost is 7, so you produce, okay? Now for the last one, okay, this one requires a bit more thought. Okay, now you need to go through A, B, C, and D, and you have to tell me which one is false for perfect competition. Brian, false, yeah? That means it's not true. Oh, but that is what the statement is saying, right? Okay, I think we need to go through this one by one, okay? Now, I'm going to ignore A first, okay? I'm going to ignore A first because A is a bit like, it's not even relevant. Okay, now let's talk about B, okay? Let's talk about B. Think about perfect competition, and remember we assume, okay? We assume identical products, okay? Identical products. Now, if the products are all identical, does it mean, okay, suppose I sell ISWAM and Edward sells ISWAM, Brian sells ISWAM, that means that our goods are all substitutes for each other, right? So in perfect competition, should we have many substitutes or very few substitutes? Okay, it should be many, okay, so B is wrong. Okay, B is wrong, and therefore B is the answer, yeah? Okay, because you should have many substitutes, not a few. Okay? Now, C is correct. That is just a standard profit maximizing condition. Okay, MR equals MC. That one's fine. Okay, D. If goods are identical, okay, homogeneous, that is what option D is saying. Okay, option D is saying the goods are identical and consumers cannot differentiate between them. That is true. Okay, that is true under perfect competition. That is the assumption of homogeneous products. Okay, so D is not the answer because D is true. Does that make sense, Brian? Okay, you're not looking for the one that is true. You're looking for the one that is false. Okay, now A is something like irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter whether a good has many complements or very few complements. Okay, because we just care about their substitutes in this case. Okay, A is like irrelevant. We don't care. Okay, that's why I left A until the end. All right, think about, something that is identical. IA swap. Can you think of complements to IA swap? It's like, when you think about it, you're like, IA swap complements, right? It's like, doesn't make much sense. Okay, let's think about another thing that is practically homogeneous. Think about sugar. Okay, sugar is like, everyone sells sugar, okay? Especially white sugar, it's going to be the same everywhere, right? But when you think of complements, okay, yes, you use sugar in many things, right? You use it in baking, you use it in drinks, okay? Many complements. Sugar has many complements, but it is identical across many sellers. Water, you can't think of any complements, but it is also identical across many sellers. In that sense, the number of complements doesn't matter, okay? Therefore, A is, how should I say this? It is irrelevant. It is not necessarily false, okay? What the question is saying, it must be always false, okay? A is like can be true, can be false. Therefore, it's not the answer. But B is definitely false because under perfect competition, you definitely have many substitutes, okay? All right, so for 12, does it make sense? Okay, now any questions from the MCQ? Anything you want to confirm again? Okay, if not, let us move on to the essay. Okay, question 1. Using an appropriate diagram, explain how a perfectly competitive firm achieves the profit maximizing output level. Okay, I want you to tell me from which slide can you get this. Sorry? Yeah. Okay. So yes, we need something like 10 to 12, okay? The diagram itself is on 12, okay? Let me see what's 12, okay? So the diagram is on 12. This is the diagram you need, okay? So just a few important points that I need to make so that you don't lose marks. So first of all, you need to label, of course, you need to label everything, but crucially, you need to label the MR equals MC. Okay, you need to label the MR equals MC. You indicate that point, okay? And from that point, you need to label that quantity, okay? So this dotted line going down to 125, you need to label that, okay? You need to label that one. Okay, so this line and this MR equals MC. You need to label that so that I know that you know how to find the quantity. Okay? Now, in terms of the explanation, okay, you need to tell me what you want to do and how you are going to do it. Okay? So let me write down a few, something like hints on what you need to do. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, first of all, okay, what do you want to determine? Okay, so that's the first thing. Do you want to determine price or output? Okay, so you tell me, okay, the firm wants to determine its output. Okay, what does it want to achieve? Okay, what does it want to achieve? Simple, it wants to maximize its profits. Okay, how is it going to do that? Okay, how is it going to do that? It sets its output such that marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. Okay, so 3 points there. You set your output to maximize profits by setting marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Okay, and that will give you all the marks you need. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. Right, the next part, okay, 2A, explain the 4 assumptions of perfect competition. Okay, this one is easy. You just need to cover the 4 assumptions. Okay, you just need to cover the 4 assumptions, all right? Now, it's a 10-mark question, so how will that work? For each assumption, if you tell me what is the keyword, okay? So for the first one, for example, many buyers, many sellers. Second one, homogeneous product. Third one, information. Fourth one, easy entry and exit. Okay, if you cover all the keywords, I give you 4 marks straight. Now for each assumption, if you explain it, I give you 1.5 marks. Okay, so 2.5 times 4, that will give you 10. Okay, so you just use the 4 assumptions and that's it. Okay. All right. Okay, 2B, we are going to skip because I have taught you about price taker. I haven't taught you about price searcher. Okay, so I'll just type in the chat, skip, I say 2B. Okay, we will skip that because we will only cover price searcher in this week's lecture. Okay. Right. Now, we shall now do question 3. I will put the answer on the screen, okay, the calculation answers on the screen so that you can refer to it. I'll give you a few minutes to check and then we'll come back, okay? Stop sharing. Okay, so I'll give you a few minutes to check 3A. Oh, all right, okay. Last two, 20 and so 60, 50, 40, 30, 20 and 10. That thing is really annoying. Okay, everything okay? All right, okay. Okay, so let us continue. Okay, now, 3B, what quantity of output should the firm produce? Now, first things first. Oh, sorry, yeah. Okay. Okay, first things first, you need to tell me what how are you going to decide what you will produce? Okay, so I'm going to just type some hints in the chat. What is your objective as a firm? How will you do that? The condition. Level based on the condition. Okay, so class. Okay, what is your objective as a firm? You want to maximize your profit. How do you maximize your profit? MR equals MC, right? So your answer will be 3 units because at that point, MR equals MC equals 40. Okay? So here you just have to remember what is the condition and you need to apply it in terms of the numbers. Okay? So yep, it's just 2 marks. You just have to cover that. You just have to state the condition, okay, why you do it, and then you give your answer, which is 3. Okay? So people online, any questions? Okay, just let me check if I've missed out anyone on the attendance. Okay, right, I think we can move on. Okay, we are going to skip, question 4, resource allocative efficiency and productive efficiency, because that is not part of the syllabus anymore. It used to be part of the syllabus, but not anymore. Okay, so skip, let's say, okay, sorry, where were we? So skip essay question 4. Yeah, I'm not sure why that happened. Okay, right. So now let's move on to question 5. Okay. Okay, I think this one's fine. Okay, right. So I will give you the table, okay? Compare your answers, okay? And then we will continue with the rest. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, so this is your table. Yeah. Okay, so just check your answers and can you see my screen now? Okay, right. Okay, right. Let's take a look at our questions, yeah? Okay. So, part A, what is the fixed cost for this firm? $50, okay. Now, how do you know that? Fixed cost is cost that you incur even though you're not producing anything. So when your output is 0, your total cost is your fixed cost. Okay, let me just see if there's anything you need to write. Yeah, okay. So what you need to write is when output equals 0, okay, TVC, total variable cost, is equal to 0. Therefore, total fixed cost equals to total cost equals to 50. Okay, so that's just the formal way of writing it out. All right. Okay. Now, next part. Okay, we compute the marginal cost. We've done that. Okay. Now, part C. Okay, let me scroll back down. Okay, part C. If your price is 60, how many units should you sell to maximize your profit? That's the first part. If the price is 60, how many units should you sell? Okay, you will sell 8 units. Why is that the case? Just let me double check the question. Yes, it says perfectly competitive. Okay, very good. So because they have told you this is a perfectly competitive firm, that means you will set price equals to marginal cost. And since the price is 60, you will produce up to the point marginal cost is also 60. Okay, and that is 8 units. Okay, now we need to calculate the profit. Okay, so how do you do that? What's your answer? What's the profit? You have your price, you have your quantity, you have your total cost. You can get your profit. Sorry? Yeah. Okay, so first I'm going to give you a hint. Okay, total revenue is price times quantity. You have your price, you have your quantity. Can you get your total revenue? Okay, now your price is 60, your quantity is 8, that means your total revenue, okay, equals to 8 times 60, gives you 480. And we know your total cost, okay, is 262. So your profit is 480 minus 262, you will get 280. Okay, so that is your profit. People online, everything clear? You just have to basically crunch the numbers. Okay, you just have to crunch the numbers. All right. Now, in the exam, remember to write the RM in here. Okay, because if you don't write in the RM, you lose 1 mark. All right. So remember to write in the RM. Okay. Now, if the price falls to 16 per unit, should the firm shut down? Okay, first of all, okay, let us talk through it step by step. What is the condition for a firm to shut down? Price lower than ABC. Okay, very good. Now, the problem is that we have our price, but we don't know our ABC, right? But we know what level will the firm produce, okay? Based on P equals MC, how many units will the firm produce? No, we have the new price now, Brian. We have the new price of 16. Yeah. Okay, you will produce 4 units. Okay, now let's talk through this step by step, yeah? At 4 units, okay, total cost equals to 134. Okay, now remember that total cost is total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Okay, so can someone tell me what is the total variable cost in this case? Remember, we know our fixed cost, we know our total cost, therefore you can get your total variable cost. I am useless without my calculator. Brian, your total cost is 134, your total variable cost cannot be more than 134. Okay, yeah, okay, so total cost is 134. Fixed cost, remember we have said that it is 50. Okay, so plus TVC. Okay, so TVC equals to 134 minus 50. T equals to 84. Okay, so we know our total variable cost is 84. We know we will produce 4 units. So what is our average variable cost? Okay, 21. Very good. Okay, so I've typed it there as well. Okay, so you find your average variable cost, and that turns out to be 21. Is 21 higher than or lower than your price? Okay, so are we going to produce or not produce? We won't produce, okay? So basically what you have to do, yeah, okay, is you need to walk through it step by step, okay? I'm going to type a list of things you have to do in this case, okay? First, find your level of output given the price. Okay, 2, find the total variable cost and average variable cost. Okay, 3, compare P and ABC. 4, decide whether to shut down or continue the type. Okay, so this was what we did, right? We have our price, and then we looked for our quantity based on P equals MC. We turned out that to be 4. Okay, now at 4, we found our TC, and from there we found our TVC, and then you divide your TVC by 4 to get your ABC. Then we compare our price and ABC. Okay, price is less than ABC. Price is 16, ABC is 21. So in that case, do we shut down or continue to produce? The answer is we shut down. Okay, so for this one, you just have to walk through it step by step. Okay, walk through it step by step. I think the math is fine. It's just that you need to not panic. It's like, oh my gosh, like where do I find my TVC? It's there. It's just that you need to like calm down. Okay, work through it step by step. Find all the required information, and you will get your answer. Okay. Right. Okay, now let us continue. Okay. Okay, so last question, question 6. Give me a minute because the marking scheme is not quite correct here. Okay, question 6 here is actually question 4 from last week, the one that we skipped. Okay, just give me a minute, yeah? Okay, so 6a, reproduce the table, compute the missing values. Okay, now let me share my tab. Okay. Okay, right. So I'll give you a few minutes to check your answers. Okay, right. Okay, so so that's your table. Okay, you just do all the calculations. Now, part B, explain whether the firm is operating in the short run or the long run. Okay, let me think, how do I ask this? Okay, what is it that we have in the short run but don't have in the long run? You have in the short run but not in the long run. Fixed, yes, okay. Right, so in the long run, you don't have fixed, okay? You don't have fixed inputs, therefore you don't have fixed cost, okay? So in this case, do we have fixed costs? And how much is the fixed cost? Okay, 50, yeah, because at 0 units of output, you still have total cost of 50. So that is your fixed cost. And therefore you have fixed inputs. Okay? So in this case, we are in the short run because at least one of the inputs is fixed and fixed cost of 50 has been incurred. Okay? So you can see it on the screen, yeah? Okay? Yeah. You can see almost everything. Yeah. Okay? So first of all, you need to find out whether there are fixed inputs. How do you tell whether you have fixed inputs? You look at your costs. If you have fixed costs, that means you have fixed inputs. Okay? And therefore, in this case, we are in the short run. All right? So, part C. Okay. Now, determine the profit maximizing or loss minimizing level of output if the market price is 40. Okay. Now, if the price is 40, how many units do we produce? Okay, 4, because that is where the price is equal to the marginal cost. Okay, price is 40. At 4 units, your marginal cost is also 40. Therefore, you produce 4 units. All right? Now, okay, so that is all you have to do. Okay, determine the level of profit. Okay, so of course, you need to explain as well. Okay, the price is 40. And what is the condition that we use? P equals MC. Okay, so you state that. Okay, therefore, the profit maximizing level of output is 4 units. And that will give you your answer. Okay, now let me show you how you can write. Okay, so yeah. So you just have to mention the condition, which is MP equals MR equals MC equals to RM40, and then therefore 4 units. That will get you your 3 marks. correct. Okay, so now next part, you don't actually have to recalculate. You can just read off the table. Okay. Now, based on your answer in part C, where we said you will produce 4 units, discuss whether firm A should continue to operate. Okay, first of all, how do you decide whether to operate? Okay, I mean, like I've asked this many times, but just to, refresh your memory. What is the condition required for you to continue operating? Okay, continue operating means not shut down. So that should, price higher than ABC. Okay, very good. Now, at 4 units, your price is 40, right? What is your ABC? $31.25. Okay. Now, so in this case, is your price higher than ABC or lower? Yes. Okay. So therefore, you continue. All right. So you just have to walk through it step by step. Okay. Now, I think those are all the questions. Any questions from you? Anything you're not sure of, you want to repeat or explain? Everything okay so far? Okay, right. So I think that's all for this tutorial, but just a few more things here, okay? Actually, just one more thing. You have your midterm in about 11 days. Yes, 11 days. So if you have any questions, okay, you can ask in class here, okay? Because we probably will have plenty of time, okay? So if you have any questions, you can ask in the tutorial or in the lecture, or you can send me an email, okay? So for people who come onto campus, okay, we can arrange to meet on campus if I am on campus, okay? But yeah, I am very much happy to help you, okay? So, in the tutorial, if we finish everything, you have something from the previous lectures you want to ask, you can do that as well, okay? So yeah, midterm quite important, yeah, because it's probably, okay, midterm chapter 1 to 4. So it should end at elasticity. Yeah, it should end at elasticity. Okay, so yeah, elasticity means calculation. So make sure you have your calculator, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I would say, yeah, the midterm is probably the easy part of coursework because you have time to revise. Okay, the others, for coursework 2, what you will do is before the tutorial, you have to attempt the tutorial and present the tutorial in class. Like now, I'm giving you most of the answers. For coursework 2, you will be giving me the answers and I will be grading those answers. So in that sense, I would say midterm is probably a bit easier than your coursework 2. And coursework 2 involves presentation. Okay, so yeah. Okay, but we will talk about coursework 2 when it comes to coursework 2. Okay, so that means after the midterm. All right, but so I would say, try your best. Okay, I don't think it should be like crazily hard. Okay, but of course you need to. For coursework 2, yes. Okay, but don't worry about coursework 2 yet. Finish your coursework 1, your midterm first. Okay, I will give you more instructions a bit sooner. Okay, so I would say, revise well. Okay, revise hard. Okay, and you should be fine. Okay, I said some of the questions, so I can say for my part, it's not crazily hard. Okay, it's not crazily hard. All right, but of course, you have to, do your work. Okay, so okay, if there are no further questions, then I think we can end the tutorial here. Okay, and any other questions? Okay, if not, then just let me stop sharing. Let me end the recording. Okay, so that's all. I will see you in the lecture. Have a good week ahead. You're welcome. Okay, right. About coursework 2, because you have to do